Loose puck there for Lindstrom, able to find Soderblom. Soderblom, hold it back. Sundqvist behind the net to Rasmussen. The big line for Detroit, wraparound try. They score!
Bingo.
Soderblom!
His first National Hockey League goal, the first goal of the season for Detroit. And the excited mom and dad.
You and I talked to Derek Lalonde about, Ken, that they can get their offense from that pressure that they're facing and turn it over and go the other way in the transition game, just like the turnover a moment ago that led to the goal.
6-8, 6-6, 6-3. All in on that one.
Pretty good stuff.
All right, everybody. Welcome in to the second casting of What the Puck is Going On. I am Dave Metzger, sometimes known as Nephew Dave. I have Uncle Steve alongside me in the studio today.
Good evening.
So I think we're going to start out here. We're going to do a little recap. I know we're only 2 games in, so not really much to go off of just yet. But we'll take a look at a couple teams here that are having some good starts and some that are not. So we talked a little bit last week about Vegas, you know, being that scrappy team, and they had that fall from the playoffs last year. What were they going to do this year? You know, how are they going to start, and were they going to get in? My prediction was that they get back to playing how they've played kind of since the franchise has begun. They're off to a real hot start, 3-0, good for 6 points. So good for them. I've actually watched a game or two, you know, catching a period or two here and there. And I watched most of their game just a couple days ago, and they look pretty good. It was only a 1-0 win, but anytime you get a shutout, you know, that's something to really be happy about. Wouldn't you say, Steve?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So shutouts, real good. We like that.
Yeah, it's good to see Vegas back.
Yeah.
Kind of starting the season.
And, you know, I don't mind them. They don't really have much to do with me. And we beat them in our 2018 Cup run. Talking about the Capitals, you'll hear me talk quite a bit about them. We'll just put it out there now. I am a Caps fanatic. Those are my boys. So, you know, I'm going to give them a little love, the Capitals homer here. And so is Steve. So, you know, we got love in the studio for the Capitals. So it kind of hurts me to say this. Pittsburgh Penguins, they are off to a good start as well. 2-0, good for 4 points. They haven't missed a beat. You know, they're always that team, though. Real strong team in a real strong division at that. So you kind of expect them to do that. So not really all that surprising for them. You know, they're gonna have their slumps. You know, like all teams will. It's a long season where we got 79 games left for some teams, 80 for others. We have just begun. So we'll take you probably through the top 5 or 10 real quick. Boston Bruins 2-0, good for 3rd in the league right now. Still early, so yeah, doesn't mean much at this point, but they're looking good. I watched them obviously on opening night. They beat up on my Capitals pretty good, but they played a strong game that game, and if they keep it up, you know, they're going to be a force. Maybe, and we'll get into the futures later. We are going to revisit those, but we're going to look at them to see how the odds have moved for them on winning that division, possibly the conference. I know there's probably a lot of value there, so we're definitely going to get to that. So here's a team that's a little bit surprising. They're having a good start. The Dallas Stars. And I shouldn't say that it's all that surprising. I mean, they're a solid team. They just signed one of their key components, Jason Robertson. He's got a nice deal, so he's ready to play, bringing some grit and some skill to them, which you know they need. And he held out a little bit. They paid him. He's back. And here we go. Detroit Red Wings 2-0 to start the season. Good for 4 points. Watch out. I'm telling you, that's what I talked a lot about last week. Still high on them. Going to be high on them for a while until they show me different. What do you think?
So just from that one goal alone, since I put together the highlights for the show, that one goal of the highlight, the play, they have a 6'8", a 6'6", and a 6'3" guy on that line.
Yeah.
That is just crazy, man.
That's yeah. Well,
I'm going to have an eye on that team, just like you said, only because you said so, for one, mainly. And you could kind of see it a little bit last year, them kind of turning the tide from being a bottom feeder there towards the end, starting to get on the board a lot more regularly. Okay. I've approached this season with caution so far, but I would say that most everything you kind of talked about last week, the bottom feeders have been the bottom feeders so far, as we expect. And the good teams have been the good teams. And Pittsburgh, man, they look dead. If Jari can be that man between the pipes, they're gonna be one very, very tough out.
Oh man, they're gonna be real tough to beat. So yeah. But anyway, like we talked about the Red Wings, you're absolutely right, Steve, and that's a really good point that you bring up. How they finished the season, and they look to be carrying that over. I do not see them in the basement this year at all. They're going to be fighting, and we can definitely find some value there. So stay tuned for that as we talk about that. I believe I have them. So I already took them. I believe it was plus 290 to make the playoffs. I think we mentioned that last week, but I think that's pretty good value there. You could even put a couple bucks on it by itself, or you could pair it with something, and that would be some good value, and some running mates with that, trying to make you a couple bucks. So yeah, the bottom feeders, like Steve said, they're there. Boy, Steve, have you seen any period or a couple minutes, anything from San Jose? Holy crap, they are bad.
Just from the highlights I was watching with Carolina on, I think they played Friday night. Carolina, they handled them pretty well, but no, I haven't been able to watch a Sharks game. But between them and the Coyotes, I mean, the Coyotes have been waxed right out of the gates in both of their games.
Well, yeah. So, geez, man, they're bad. They're 0-4 start the season. So as we move along,
San Jose is the one team who's played 4 games. It looks like,
right. Well, they played in Prague to start the season. Before everybody got real excited about the more official opening night. So stay tuned. The more you listen in, and the longer the season goes, and the more content we put out for you. Let's keep an eye on San Jose, because we might be able to beat the tar out of them on the puck line and get some juicy numbers out of it. What do you think, Steve? That sound about right?
Yeah, I was looking at the slate of the games tonight. So they play tomorrow, actually. Next chance to pick on them will be with the Islanders on the road, which the Islanders had a nice win their last time out.
They did.
So, yeah, I'm going to have to start looking at these bad teams a little bit more. I can see that we can pick on Arizona here again tonight via Toronto, it looks like. Is that right? And then, yeah, Arizona's at Toronto. Well, yeah, you're going to go through the games here in a minute.
Yeah, here in just a second.
And that's a good slate. A lot of games tonight and tomorrow. So
9 games for you on a Monday. So if you're a hockey guy like myself, I hate that I had to do it, but I went ahead and got the ESPN Plus just so I can watch the games. If I bet on one, fine. At least I can keep up with it. But just to watch in general. Even if you don't have anything on it, you can keep up.
I think it's important. If you're going to be doing the sports like day to day, like I do baseball, I actually watch all the baseball games,
Right.
and I'll sit there and I'll watch the bad games too, just to get a feel for what's going on. And I can't have multiple games on if I want, if it's not blowing my eyeballs out. And there's some nights I don't want to watch terrible baseball. But usually in the summertime, especially since I'm up working so early, there's not much on TV anyway. I just put it on baseball and kind of just study the craft. I'll have that going on with the NBA too. And probably why I don't personally dwell too much into the NHL. It's just too many games to watch. But if you're going to do it, especially like you are, Dave, and you're going to be invested into it, then it is wise to actually put your eyeballs on the product for sure.
Right.
And get as many games in as you can.
Exactly. And, it's kind of like doing your homework a little bit,
I watch every soccer game, and although they hadn't quite paid off yet, which that was a horrible weekend for soccer. No one scored anything. You get a feel for the games, and when it strikes, it's going to be because you watched.
Right.
Because I watched anyway.
And, it might be with anything, it's going to take a little time. And I'm not saying you got to, make a ritual out of it or whatever, sit down and sit there and watch every game. No, just put it on the background or in between, something that you're doing, catch a little bit just to see what you see,
Yeah, and another good thing too is maybe just build your profile of your 6 to 8 or even 10 teams that you are willing to go to war with, for the lack of a better term. Those who want to just get if you can break it down to just a few half dozen teams or whatever, 8 teams, then that gives you a product you can concentrate on fully that won't get diluted as much as it will over the 32 teams. Now, I know with the NFL, it's a little bit easier. We can all watch all the games on a Sunday, and that's it. But all these games are spread out all over the place. So if I know that my list of teams is maybe the Bruins, the Blue Jackets, and the Oilers, and then Vegas, and then 4 teams not playing tonight, then I can just kind of concentrate on those, see what I got for my best bets, and try to attack my profit making that way.
Right. And that's a really good way to look at it. If you don't want to get, so invested in it, because, a lot of people are different. I myself, I'm a huge hockey guy, so I don't mind it. But like you said, Steve, if there's just a couple teams that you want to keep your eye on and try and get some value from, I think that probably makes it a little bit easier, with so many games being played. So that's one way to do it as well. So that's some pretty good insight there, Steve.
Thank you.
All right. Well, what do you say? So we'll start off with the 7:00 games.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
All right. So we're gonna start off here with the LA Kings at the Detroit Red Wings. This is a pretty interesting game, if you ask me. Probably one of the better games on tonight. So Detroit at home is the underdog. They're plus 115 on the money line. So that's pretty surprising to me, because even though I think the Kings are a good team, and they will pick it up, I totally see it happening. They've had a little bit of a slow start out of the gate. And the Wings, they're coming out swinging, so we could find some value there. Let's take a look into it real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Even on the 60-minute line, which is the 3-way with no overtime, you get plus 168 for the Wings to win. They don't even have to get to so no overtime. You don't want overtime or you will lose. No. That will be the draw bet. But plus 168 at home for the Wings, and then if you like them on an alternate puck line, you can get plus 260 minus 1.5 if you think they can at least get an empty netter at home. So that's a nice.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say, Steve. You bring up yet another good point. That is tremendous value on the Red Wings. Like you said, it's a contested game. They're up 2-1. Late into the third, there's 2 or 3 minutes left. The goalie's coming out, and they're gonna be shooting down there for it. So that could totally happen, and you don't even have to move that. I would just stick right there. What'd you say that was, Steve?
minus 1.5 is plus 260, or you can get plus 168 on the 3-way at home.
I like the 1.5 there paired with something else. That might be something that I look into here shortly. I love the value on that. So that pin that to your board there. Don't fire it on it just yet. But definitely pin that, because that could be a very good play, I think.
Okay. All right.
So all right, next game up. Vancouver Canucks versus the Washington Capitals. So here's one. I was actually looking at this last night, and I was playing around, and I was going to make a 3-game parlay. But yesterday, as will happen, got a little beat up on, and I was just kind of over it. So I decided to call it a night and get some sleep. But before I did that, I did play around with it. And even though I'm not much for betting on my team, I'm just kind of superstitious that way. I do not do it very often, but there is some really good value for the Capitals.
I don't get this line. If they're only minus 134 is the line I'm looking at. That doesn't make any sense to me. They got to be a much better team than Vancouver is, just from experience sake alone.
Right.
And I mean, Vancouver hasn't shown much this year. They haven't won a game yet, have they?
Let me check on that. I do not believe.
I think that's what I saw earlier. I'm gonna get my standings up too.
No, they're 0-2.
Yeah.
But you know what? The thing that kind of stopped me about this, that I want to make a point. They got absolutely hammered last time out by the Islanders. I believe it was 7-1.
Yes, that's the Islanders' nice win. Yes, exactly.
So anytime a team gets beat like that, you always kind of think you want to, jump on that train and beat up on them. But I think you also have to think about, what they're thinking. They're thinking, wow, we just got absolutely drilled. They're going to try and come and put a better product out than they did that night.
Yeah, and chances are they can't play that bad. But if the Caps can get 2 goals up on the board quick, then they're going to lose that kind of confidence. And that train of thought
quickly. Which brings me to this: if you're going to do it, the puck line, and you don't even, to me, if you want to go higher, obviously you certainly can, because there's going to be even better value behind this. Capitals on the puck line, Steve. Are you ready for this? Minus 1.5. Plus 190.
And I'm looking at also minus 2.5 at plus 340.
Oh my!
If you think they can really lay a hammer down on the Canucks.
You imagine they go out there and they take it to them, 4-1. Look at the value that you're making off of that. So that is a live play. I feel like it could be. I had it in my bet slip, but like I said, I just kind of get like that. So I didn't fire on it. But boy, I think I want to. I mean, would you fire on that, Steve? I think that's incredible.
So if this was me, and you're starting to talk me into things now, I'm starting to become a professional better for hockey here in just the second game that we're breaking down. But even like the $20 2-game parlay for the Caps in the super blowout and the Red Wings minus 1.5, you can throw down a 20 spot and make 300. That's not too bad. If you just want 2 things to happen on $20 instead of going to pay your lottery ticket, I don't see any reason why the Capitals can't run away from the Canucks tonight, and why the Red Wings wouldn't be able to beat the Kings by 2. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
right.
Much more crazier things in the universe have happened.
I tell you, that's man, that is something to think about. Once again, pin on your board. I like those 2 plays a lot, especially with the Wings being at home. So there's 2 already just right off the bat to take a look at. So I think we're going to take us a quick little break, and then we're going to get into the rest of the 7 o'clock games.
Yeah, and I think after that, so we'll have 2 breaks tonight. We'll have this one coming
Know
up,
your gambling limits.
and then
Don't ever bet
futures.
what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
Dependable Solutions can provide all voiceover services for your advanced audio production needs. Think of us as an inexpensive option, no matter what the size of the project is. From one-word cameos to full script productions, contact Dependable Solutions at 757-354-5517. Do you want to advertise with Deep End Broadcasting? Send us an email at deepend757@yahoo.com. That's deepend757@yahoo.com. It is estimated that 23% of car accidents each year involve a cell phone. That's 1.3 million accidents a year. Reaching for your phone, you are 4 times more likely to crash. Dialing on your phone, 2.8 times more likely to crash. And texting on your phone, you are 23 times more likely to crash. Attentive drivers are safe drivers.
Control your alcohol. Don't fight. Don't drink and drive. Your one punch could kill someone. It happens. If you're behind the wheel, you may think you are fine, but then the other driver is under the influence of texting, and then you are done. Control your alcohol.
Tired of your swimming pool's diatomaceous earth pool filter? The constant cleaning, green pool, cloudy water. I thought this was supposed to be clean. Trust your swimming pool's water quality with a custom sand filter install. A clean, easy solution for your swimming pool operations. Contact Dependable Solutions at 757-354-5517.
17 shots for New Jersey, just 12 for Philadelphia. Nice play by Kevin Hayes. Ripped it, score! Travis Konechny off the bench into the net. 2-1 Philadelphia. See if that jumps some energy into them. Lazinski throws it across. Out there with Van Riemsdyk and Frost. In front, shot, score! Morgan Frost, 3-1 Philadelphia.
He's out of his entry-level contract. He's had a disappointing start to his NHL career. Yet he takes a 1-year, $800,000 contract. JVR with the puck. Goes below the goal.
All right, that brought to you by NBC Sports Philadelphia. So there's that. All right, so where did we leave off here? We're going down the 7:00 games. So here's one. Doesn't really excite me all that much. We'll see what you think here, Steve. Arizona Coyotes at the Toronto Maple Leafs. What do you think about that?
So I don't think I've ever seen. This is the truth. In all of my gambling career, some will argue I'm a professional. Some would argue that I am not. But I think I've been doing this long enough to classify myself into that category. So at minus 530 for the Maple Leafs, that is the biggest money line I've ever seen in a hockey game ever. Today, the 17th of October, 2022, I have never seen a hockey team at minus 530 on the money line. And the over-under is 7 goals. I mean, what are they expecting Toronto to get? 6 goals themselves here?
No kidding. It's going to be, 6-1 or something like that. So for me, I think I leave this alone, just all around, because you have to dig so deep for any value.
The Maple Leafs over-under is 4.5 goals for them for the game. Actually, so where we talked about that, well, they don't have alternate goals. This would be a fun one to play if you could bet alternate goals. But let's see, the Coyotes team goals are 2.5. You do get plus 126 on that. And then the puck lines are kind of weird. To the Maple Leafs at minus 1.5, it's still minus 198.
Yeah. So you're not getting much out of this at all.
Minus 3.5 goals is plus 245. I don't think you'll ever see me laying that many goals.
No.
I can lay 2.5. That's not very realistic.
No.
So here is another thing. When you're talking about laying 2.5 goals, 3.5 goals, 1.5 goals, you will see the same kind of numbers in baseball, about the same money line payouts.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, it's going to be a lot easier to get a run differential, I think, than it is going to be to get a puck differential in a hockey game.
Right.
I just feel like most of the hockey games are 3-2, 4-3.
Yeah.
4-2. Yeah, there are your 4-1s, 5-0s. And we do preach. At least I preach. Look out for the blowout. There's better sports to blow out teams to get payouts than in hockey, I think, to lay 3.5 goals at just plus 245. I mean, that's not good enough for me.
And with hockey, there's certain things that you want to play more than others. So with this though, this might be a fun one. Maybe you're a Toronto fan or something like that. This one would be a fun to maybe go with the over, maybe 10 goals or something. Hopefully Arizona gets 2 or 3 of them, maybe. But hey, we've seen it before. Now you make a good point, Steve. I think, you usually will see on average probably between, 4 to 6 goals in a game. You get or 5, five's right in there. You get a lot of 3-2s. 4-2s, stuff of that nature. But you will see games every now and again that will hit it over that will just make you kind of think about things a little bit.
And I've always used this basic philosophy as well. If you're going to just generalize your gambling and your wagering, and you just want to win, really on just 1 or 2 things, you got to find what you think are just the best plays on the board overall. I just don't see how, in any case, the Toronto-Arizona game qualifies in there. I mean, to get over 7 goals, I'm thinking Toronto has to do it themselves. Do I want to take Toronto over 4.5 team goals? Not really. I think there's just better bets on the board.
I think so too. But the only reason that I give that kind of double take to it, which don't get me wrong, I'm leaving it alone. I'm just putting that out there. But the Leafs also, I believe they had an injury in net, so that's going to make them start Ilya Samsonov from the Capitals.
Oh yeah, good information.
Now, don't get me wrong, he is a good young goaltender. When he's on it, when he's shining, it looks like he could be one of the best, possibly, or one of the better. I shouldn't say one of the best. One of the better goalies in the NHL. But the thing about him, and you could probably back me up on this, Steve. From experience, being Capitals fan, we've watched him for a couple years now, and you just don't know what you're going to get out of the guy. Sometimes he's sound and he's stopping everything, and at other times he's sliding around the crease, left and right, like he's on a merry-go-round or something. And I can't trust in him, so that's the only reason that I kind of thought, well, hey, maybe an over could be a play there. I'm not gonna do it, but if you wanted, if you're feeling a little frisky, I guess maybe you could go about it that way. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I guess I could see that. I'm looking at the injury report now for everybody, so I got a good page up for this. I can be your Ant-Man for the
there you go
hockey injuries here. I'm going to look at the Arizona side. It looks like they're going to be missing a few players, but nothing too crazy. This is a chance for Samsonov, honestly, to take the reins from Murray and
Absolutely.
be the goalie up there. So with a good performance, even if it is against Arizona, if he's able to shut them out or just hold them to a goal, and Murray, if he's going to stay out with his groin injury, then you might see Samsonov get the bulk of the load here for Toronto. And I think that that jury is probably still out anyways about who's going to carry that team between the pipes. And they could be looking to trade as well. But this is a good opportunity for Samsonov for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So that's the summary on that one. Like I said, I don't really trust Matt Murray either. He was so good in Pittsburgh. What a thorn in our side he was. But ever since he left, he's just not the same goaltender. So can't trust him either. So we'll just leave that one at that. So beware on that one. I have nothing going on.
No play on my card.
No. All right, so here we go. Now we're going to get into a good one. The Florida Panthers at the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, this is a good game. That stuck out pretty good to me. And if you like the Bruins, you're going to get a nice plus price at home as well. They're an underdog at home tonight.
So I think with the way it's trending right now, I think the home dogs might be at play tonight if you're going to do anything.
Plus 172 for the Bruins to win outright in regulation. That means they have to avoid overtime. A plus 172, you could probably try to sell me on that. Florida's been good, though. I think that in my one or two, I think I took a shot against did Florida beat up on Columbus pretty good? I think that might have been Tampa Bay, to be honest. I know whoever I played against Florida the one time in my little $10 like 3-gamer, it didn't work out.
Right.
My little experimental, let's just throw a little darts,
Right.
Let's throw a little dart shot against a better team. If I'm looking at alternate puck lines on here, the Panthers are laying 2.5 at plus 330. Yeek.
Wow.
But Boston, if you think they can somehow get an empty netter at the end and win by 2, you can get plus 260 on the Bruins. This is a good game. I could see this actually going into overtime.
Absolutely.
At plus 320 to go to overtime, you might be able to sell me on that, actually.
That's something to look at. And I actually, Steve, I don't know. You may disagree. I like playing the 60-minute line.
I could see this being an over 6.5 goals.
Oh, absolutely. And you have over 6.5 at plus 100 already. There's no reason that these two teams can't do that. Now they have some good goaltenders. I'm not sure who's starting in net for Boston, but if it's going to be Swayman, he's a good young goaltender for them. They're pretty high on him. And then if Bob Roski's on the other side, that could that could be the kicker that kills that. I think
this is why Florida's going to be the favorite tonight. Is one, if I'm looking at their injury list, they're only missing one player, Duclair. He's going to be out until December. They're completely healthy, but Boston, on the other hand, is not. Let's see, Marchand is out. Charlie McAvoy is not going to be in there tonight. Marchand is going to be out until November 29th. McAvoy till December. A bunch of other players, Brandon Carlo, Strawman, Felipe, Grzelcyk, they're all going to be out. DeBrusk, he's not going to play tonight. So
wow, okay, that's
going to change things for me as far as a Boston perspective. I always thought they were maybe giving Florida a little too much credit there, but I guess this is why. This is all an updated injury list,
right?
Too, so this is a good resource for us right here. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
I could see this still going over. I don't know. I kind of almost lean to Florida at this point, to be honest.
Right. Well, that's actually big info, Steve. So good job having that on hand. Because I was wondering myself. But now that I hear all that, if you're not real big into hockey, Those are every single one of them are big injuries for Boston. Now, if you now flip the script and all them guys are healthy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean,
That's a coin flip game.
And you can put Boston in there to make a deep playoff run.
And they still have Pasternak, a prolific scorer. So I mean, Boston still has a good chance tonight if you do like them plus money. But again, if you're going to try to find the best play on the board,
right?
Maybe you just sit back and enjoy this one.
Right. And for me, if I'm going to do something with it, I'm going to take the 1.5 at plus 190 and hope for that empty netter there at the end, because I think that's how you get that. This is going to be, and this could be a shootout, so this will probably be a really, really good game tonight. If you're interested, I would say, tune in and check out a little bit of that one, because that'll be a good game. Those are both heavyweights, expected to have good seasons. All have expectations of playoffs, and not just playoffs, but deep playoffs. Certainly these two teams are very capable of that as well. So really good game tonight. I like that one. So for me, Steve, I'm going to go minus 1.5, plus 190. Like I said, that would be my play for that one.
Oh, okay. All right. And I'll just go ahead and look for something else.
All right.
I have a sneaky suspicion on a game when you get to it.
All right. Well, I'm going to see what you think about this one, because what I'm looking at is already plus money. So we're going to go Anaheim Ducks versus the New York Rangers, the Rangers at home. So what I'm looking at, they're minus 250 over here for me on the money line. So expected to win that game. I would expect them to. I believe they took a loss their last game out. This is a high-powered team. They have expectations of competing for the Metro Crown. That's the Metropolitan Division, Eastern Conference. So minus 1.5 on the puck line at plus 105. Even if you just wanted to pair that with something, I think that's pretty good already, being that you're starting out plus money on that. Because I could see this being 3-1. The Ducks get their goal. So I could definitely see a 3-1 or even like a 5-2 or something. New York is very high powered. What do you think, taking a look at that one there?
So I would be interested in this. If you like the instant satisfaction bet of, let me get something over in the first period, I would take a look at the two goalies here, because you have Gibson, who can be a very good goalie. He's won a couple before, and you have Shesterkin, which may be the best goalie overall. And I would look at, in the first period, I would look at under 1.5 goals in the first period.
Ooh.
And see if they start that off. So if at under 1.5 goals, that pays even money at plus 100. I would take it a step further. This is a West Coast to East Coast. It's Monday night. Shesterkin's the man. Shesterkin is the man.
Shesterkin
is the man. If you're looking for something exotic, then you can actually parlay this as well. This would be kind of a fun bet, to be honest. So if I take my Capitals minus 2.5, my Red Wings minus 1.5, and I bet Igor Shesterkin at plus 880 to have a shutout.
Ooh.
Then $10 pays $1,542 on that bet. So that's a good payoff. Shesterkin at plus 880. I'm going to I would be prone to having fun and taking a shot with that. I think under 1.5 is a very good opportunity.
I like that.
To stay under in the first period. So I would hook that in maybe a three-team parlay over-under period bet or something like that. Nothing crazy, just a $10 one to have some fun with.
Right.
But the plus 880 on the goalie shutout, I'm gonna have to start looking at those. That might be a fun way to approach things as I move forward. And that's the best thing too. Is, oh man, can
Absolutely.
you imagine going all the way to the end and then giving up a goal? Wow.
And it does happen.
That's what would happen against me.
But if you're gonna bet on a goalie to do it, he is one of the top ones to do that with that kind of money. So good find there, Steve. Absolutely, that's definitely something to look at.
The Anaheim comes into this game pretty healthy as well, and if you look at the Rangers' injuries, they're fine as well. It looks like just no long-term injuries either. Just Ryan Carpenter and Vitaly Kozlov, the right winger. Both of those guys should be expected back here next week.
Gotcha. All right, so well, there we found some good little plays in that. Something to definitely think about. All right, so we're gonna go into one more here, and then we're gonna take our last break of the evening, I believe.
Might be able to have two more games in here.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's go with this here, Steve, and I'm not sure quite what to make of it, because we talked about this just a couple days ago. We got the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Montreal Canadiens. Now you remember. You might remember when our first airing, I was kind of thinking that the Canadiens would be a team to pick on a little bit. And then we got to talking about it, and you made me think about it a little bit. They might not be. Now, look, they're not. I don't think they're going to be great or anything or make the playoffs, but they might not be that whipping post that we thought they were going to be. They're definitely trying to come out of the basement after a terrible season last year. And they're young and they're fast, and they have a gritty game. So, I got to give you credit there, Steve. You make a good point. So, what are you thinking?
So for the Canadiens at home tonight, they won their first game. They have lost their last two. Here's the problem. The Penguins have scored 12 goals so far this year in just 2 games. So the Penguins are averaging in their 2 games 6 goals apiece. In the Canadiens' 3 games played, they've given up 9. So they're giving up about 3 goals a game. Nothing super crazy. That's probably about the average there for the league. This is a buzzsaw situation. I would just be too afraid to jump in front of a Pittsburgh freight train for the most part. If I look at the injuries for this game, then we have Pittsburgh. They're very healthy. They only have one player out, and he's expected back here in a couple days. That's Teddy Bluger.
Okay.
And then also Montreal. If we look at them, they're going to be a little bit more banged up, and their injuries are going to be a lot more long term. But I like Nick Suzuki.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Montreal can be feisty too, I think. Plus, they have a great home ice advantage. At least for them, their fans come out strong. They have a very loud home ice advantage there in Montreal. So I'm going to actually watch this, and I will not see. I would almost want to say that this would almost be an over game at 6.5, just because of the Penguins' prolific scoring.
Right.
But Jari is good too. I would kind of lean on the over, to be honest, on this, just because of the goals. Montreal can score at home as well. Let's see here.
Is that what they're giving you, 6.5?
Yeah.
I got 7 over here, so that makes me a little. But
wow,
it is plus money.
And if you're looking at a puck line here, Montreal plus 215 at home. And then if you think they can be, this can be the Monday night, everyone's going to be in the Penguins. Let's bet the opposite. Let's go with the Canadiens. You're going to get a big payout at home here. Let's see. To avoid overtime and to win outright for the Canadiens is at plus 300. And if you want to make it cheaper for the Penguins, just minus 158.
Right.
I would throw that maybe into a parlay. It's tough for me to go against the Penguins right now.
Right.
They look like a good team. They have a good goalie. Malkin, I don't know if you knew this, Dave, but I guess he's in better shape than ever. He's really been hitting the offseason training regiment. So him and Sidney Crosby in their golden years are living very strong. And Crosby's leading the way. He scored the first goal of the season for the Penguins.
Right.
Where I love Montreal's home ice and stuff, I just don't like their opponent. I would be tempted to take Dependable Solutions. I'd be tempted to take Pittsburgh on the 60-minute no overtime minus 158. I would throw it down a parlay. And I'm not one to lay extra money sometimes.
Right.
That's what I would do in this case.
Well, good play there. So for me, I could see, with the points that you make to the Montreal home ice advantage, in my head, I'm kind of thinking Pittsburgh will definitely get theirs. Can Montreal help out a little bit? Can we get a 5-3 game here and go over this 7 for me? I wish I had the 6.5 because I would fire on it now.
Yeah, if you shop around, you could find it.
So even at over 7 at plus 110, I think that would be my play on that one.
I would not expect any of these goalies to get a save. In fact, Jari's not even in goal tonight, to be honest.
Oh,
for Pittsburgh. And everyone had the day off yesterday. It looks like we're going to have a matchup of Montembault against DeSmith. That's your goalie matchup tonight in Montreal.
All right, yeah, we're going over.
Yeah, I would say the over is a good bet.
We're going over
with the goalies. And real quick, if we're going to look at that, then I would be even tempted to go alternate over if you can find the right price.
Give them like 8.
Yeah,
7.5.
Yeah, I like your 5-3. I like your 5-3 take on that one. And if we go to alternate total goals, then over 7.5 is a plus 164. Yeah,
love it.
You can talk me into that. If you want to go to cheapskate route and lay a 245 over 5.5, cashes you there.
Excellent. Well, yep, I'm gonna look into that, and we're taking the over there. Sounds like.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think we got break time coming up. We got another couple games, and we'll hit the futures board, and we'll get you out of here shortly after 7:00.
Sounds good.
Once the music starts playing. Dependable Solutions can provide all voice-over services for your advanced audio production needs. Think of us as an inexpensive option, no matter what the size of the project is. From one-word cameos to full-script productions, contact Dependable Solutions at 757-354-5517. Do you want to advertise with Deep End Broadcasting? Send us an email at deepend757@yahoo.com. That's deepend757@yahoo.com. It is estimated that 23% of car accidents each year involve a cell phone. That's 1.3 million accidents a year. Reaching for your phone, you are 4 times more likely to crash. Dialing on your phone, 2.8 times more likely to crash. And texting on your phone, you are 23 times more likely to crash. Attentive drivers are safe drivers.
Know your gambling limits. Don't ever bet what you can't cover. Wagering on sports is only fun when you do it the right way. Not every bet will win. When you get on a bad run, know it and avoid trouble. Know your gambling limits.
Tired of your swimming pool's diatomaceous earth pool filter? The constant cleaning, green pool, cloudy water? I thought this was supposed to be clean. Trust your swimming pool's water quality with a custom sand filter install. A clean, easy solution for your swimming pool operations. Contact Dependable Solutions at 757-354-5517.
Your climb on the leaderboard starts now.
LeBanc, good back check by Svechnikov. He's got Natchez with him. Natchez in and scores! Marty Natchez with a slick move, and he ties the game 1-1.
Hustle, Svechnikov here, stick lift on LeBanc, turns it back the other way. Natchez stays on side, gets on side, then receives the pass, and then finds the 5-hole on James Reimer. But right there, the hustle of Svechnikov turns it back the other way, and then the pass over around Carlson, and then just kind of puts it in on from the back end of the forehand. Natchez finds a little bit of a hole opening.
All right, and we're back. That is Bally Sports, the little snippet of Carolina, not the Panthers, the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I've been saying the Carolina Panthers all day. Been meaning the Hurricanes, especially when I Google them in. I'm like, wait a minute, they're on Fox?
So we have 3 more games we're going to get to you here rather quickly, and then we're going to look at a couple features because I want to talk just briefly about I want to see what the money's doing with the Carolina Hurricanes to win that division. I believe it was at like plus 180 last time we looked. I feel like that's pretty strong, a good play there. So we're definitely going to take a look at that once we get through these next 3 games. So next up, we have the Colorado Avalanche. They are at the Minnesota Wild. This should also be a good game tonight. And there's some pretty good value here on Colorado that I'm seeing on the puck line. Not so much the money line. They are favored minus 120. And the reason I say is from what I've been seeing, things I've been watching. Marc-Andre Fleury is not playing very well tonight. We'll check here with Steve in just a second to see who's in goal. If it is him, he knows that he needs to play better. That's pretty much what he said because he's letting them go by him right now. And when you're stepping up to the Colorado Avalanche, they also have a lot of firepower. So he's going to need to be on his game.
It's Gustafsson against Georgie Eve.
Georgiev.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe Colorado's got the goaltending advantage there. So yeah, this could be here. And here's what I'm gonna play. Jumps out at me right off the bat. The puck line for the Colorado Avalanche minus 1.5 at plus 205.
Yeah, that's a big payout for the Avalanche on the road, especially against a team who's up against it. They haven't won yet. So the Wilds are one of those teams that we talked about being towards the top, but they haven't shown it yet. Of course, we are only 1.3% into the season. So it's kind of hard to say. A little further than that, I think. But I would take a look. Well, like you just said, Dave. This is Avalanche or nothing. I think for me, 7 for an over under is a lot.
Right.
These over unders are getting crazy.
They're getting up there.
If I look at a super puck line on the Avalanche are plus 360 at minus 2.5.
Wow.
You could almost even talk me into that.
Just because of the goaltending matchup, I think. Wow. So really good value on Colorado.
Yeah, just a minus 128. I would take that straight up. So if I was looking for, and in fact, if we go to the 60-minute money line with the no overtime, if they go to overtime, you lose. You get plus 126 on the Avalanche to win in regular.
I like that, especially paired with something. I mean, plus money is always going to, make it go up.
So maybe if I'm playing my card, I got my Red Wings minus 1.5, maybe my Capitals minus 2.5, my Avalanche to win in regulation, and then the Penguins to win in regulation. That's gonna be a nice payout.
I like that. That's a good card right there. So I think me and Steve here we're on the same page. We're not putting a lot of faith in Minnesota right now.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna have to. It just started off, and both teams are fairly healthy. No major injuries really to
right.
Landeskog for the Avalanche, he'll be out. But Minnesota's at this point against the Stanley Cup champions, they're going to have to actually prove themselves. And they'll have a chance to do so at home tonight.
All right. Well, we'll see what they do. So there's your plays for that. And of course, you can always dive a little deeper into it if you'd like. But for me, I know what I want to play on that. So yeah, we'll just go with that. So I'm thinking puck line 1.5 for me. Just for that value. I think Steve, you know how he likes to do. He's going to bump it up. So there's your plays for that. So we're going to jump down to one. Doesn't really excite me all that much. Probably would leave it alone. Although there is some good money that I'm seeing puck line anyway. The Winnipeg Jets versus the Dallas Stars, Steve.
Dallas out of the gates having a nice start. I'll give myself a small personal pat on the back as far as Dallas goes here. So they are 2-0. They have scored 9 goals in their 2 games, and they've only given up 2. So I will look for, Dallas, you're always going to have, I've always thought of them as that low scoring, the good goalie type of team. They're going to punish you on defense, turn you over. And Dallas, they're off to a nice start already. The Jets, they have just 1 win in 1 game that they've played. But if I was going to be looking at this one, Dave, I think the thing I would do here is this as well. The over-under is 6. I would, again, go to the first period. I look for the first period over-under goals. And let's make sure we have the good goalies in net here. We have Connor Hellebuck, and we have Ottinger in for the Stars.
Okay.
So I'm going to look at the first period and then my 1.5 under total goals for the first period parlay. I will go ahead and throw in the under of this game at minus. That's not minus 118. Hold on. That's first period total goals under minus 1.5 at plus 102.
Oh, okay. So a little bit of value there. That's good.
And then, I think this game has a 3-2 written all over it, either way you look at it.
Oh, you know what, Steve? You could be absolutely right. So I'm going to take it just a little step further, though. I am going to hope for that empty netter for the Stars at the end, because I would think for this game, I think that's probably the smarter play you got there, Steve. But if you want to reach a little bit, you tell me on this, minus 1.5 for the Stars, plus 185. So that empty netter is where you're going to get that value. Because like you said, this could very well be the 1-goal game. So if you're taking that, you want it to be 1-goal game in your favor. If you're taking the Stars, and then just, I guess, hope they hit that empty net, and there's your plus 185.
I like that. I think that when we'll get to the division bets in a minute, the Stars, if they weren't in the same division with the Avalanche, I would almost be certainly looking at them to win their division, because they're plus 800 now. I will spoil that. Dallas comes in with no injuries, so that's good on their part. Everyone's healthy for Dallas, while Winnipeg's healthy too. So both teams at the top of their health at this early point of the NHL season. So that bodes well for them, both of them to stay strong in their decent starts that they've had.
No doubt. So this should be a pretty tight game out there in the Western Conference. So we'll see what happens there. A couple good plays there. So we'll just leave that there. So last game up for the evening. And this is a team that we've been talking about. Already seen plus money here. This one I would definitely bump up if it's the way I would go. The Carolina Hurricanes at the Seattle Kraken, Steve.
Yeah, and I asked if the Seattle was going to be one of those darling teams, improved, and they looked at me like I was a little bit crazy, and they have not shown that they have been that yet. They have the Kraken have not been actually. So the Kraken are 1-1 and 1, which means they have an overtime loss. So they have a win, they have a loss, and they've lost in overtime.
Right.
So they have 4 points to their season. And then let's see. Actually, 3 points. You get 2 points for the win. I'm thinking of soccer points here. And then as far as Carolina goes, they are 2-0. They're on top of their game. The goalie matchup we have for this one is going to be Grubauer against Anderson. So Philip Grubauer and
we know him.
Anderson. Yep, former Capital. And I would almost. I guess it's Carolina or nothing. I think there's just better plays on the board.
Absolutely.
Here. I don't know. What do you like, Dave?
So one that I'm looking at, I was looking at the -1.5, plus 155, just because it's plus money. But now that I kind of think to myself, I'm looking at the alternate line. I think Carolina, should be able to take it to them. Like you said, Seattle, 1-1-1. That's not terrible. At least you're getting points for that overtime loss, or a point, I should say. But I think Carolina, man, they're just they're so strong. They're a team that you could very well see in the Eastern Conference Final, maybe in the Cup Final. So if I'm gonna push the envelope a little bit, I'm gonna take them -2.5 for plus 280.
Ooh, okay, there you go. Blowout City. I could see that happening for sure. I like Carolina. They're a good team. David, just everything we kind of saw from last year is it's the one sport things are kind of flowing evenly back into the next season.
Right. As you would kind of think they would. You got the bizarro NFL going on right now, so I don't even know what the heck's going on over there. So let's hope hockey sticks to our trend here.
And let's see. Casey is out with a concussion. Pacioretty, he's going to be out until February. So he has an Achilles injury. He's going to be gone for a while. Gardner will be out until July. He's done permanently. That's Jake Gardner, the defenseman for Carolina. If we go to the Kraken injuries, we're going to look at those. Then Donskoy, Jonas Donskoy, he has an upper body injury. He'll be out tonight. That's going to be tough for Seattle. He's a good player for them.
Absolutely.
Driger, Chris Driger, he's going to be out until Seattle until February for Seattle. And then Winterton, he has a shoulder injury. The center, he will be out until December. But I think Donskoy is going to be a big miss for them here just in the immediate game tonight. I like your Carolina play.
Yeah.
I would get on board with that. In fact, if we look for Carolina has great defense too. So if you want to look at a goalie shutout there, I'm going to go on the premise of shutouts happen all the time in hockey. Just find the right one, kind of like blowouts happen in all the sports. The Frederik Andersen shutout tonight pays 11-1.
Wow. All right. So high value there. For that anyway.
Yep. And then that's all the games for tonight.
Yep. That wraps up the Monday night slate. 9 games.
Tomorrow night, there's a big slate too. Let's just run down those games real quick. So you know, keep in mind who's playing the back-to-back and who is not. Philadelphia is at Tampa Bay tomorrow night at 7:00. The Lightning, a huge favorite over the Flyers, who start off at 2-0. The banged-up Bruins are on the road against the winless Senators. Vancouver is going to be they're going to be in Columbus tomorrow night. That's a good situation. Pay attention to that, because if they get another blowout against the Capitals and they have to go play in Columbus, that could be a get-right situation for the Blue Jackets, who haven't been off to – they're one of the teams that we said that might be better, but they haven't shown that yet.
Right.
They're hanging in there with the Lightning that one nice game, and the next thing I knew, the Tampa was up 6-3 on them.
Right.
Tomorrow night as well, we have Anaheim at New Jersey. The Devils will be a minus 178 favorite. The San Jose Sharks are at the Islanders tomorrow night. The Islanders will lay minus 196. Buffalo, the Sabres will be in Edmonton. The Oilers a big favorite at minus 245, over under 7 there. Good game tomorrow night with the Vegas Golden Knights at Calgary. Calgary is minus 156, over under 6.5 there. And then the Kings, they will be playing again tomorrow. So they will be on a back-to-back. They will be in Nashville, where the Predators are minus 172 favorites. So the teams tomorrow night on back-to-backs will be the Kings, the Vancouver Canucks, and the Boston Bruins.
All right, good to know.
And if we go to the futures board, we'll wrap you guys up with this, because it's puck time. They're dropping the puck in a minute.
Yep.
So you talked about Carolina in their division. They're plus 195 right now. The Penguins are at plus 240, so their odds have dropped. The Rangers are at plus 350, a nice price still for them. The Capitals might be a great time to buy at plus 850 if you think the Caps can win that division. The Islanders are plus 850. And then everyone trickles down from there. Any other notable stuff? I'll just kind of give some random stuff, and Dave can give his 2 takes on some of this stuff.
All right.
Toronto is still the favorite to win their division at plus 185. Florida at plus 220. The Avalanche are heavy favorites on minus 145 now to win that division. We mentioned the Stars; they're 8-1. They're off to a nice start. Minnesota, who has not won, is plus 500. I don't know why you would bet that at this point of the season. So Carolina, they're getting paid more now than they were beforehand, nephew Dave.
Wow.
At plus 195. Let's see what else.
See, and they dropped in mine because I believe we talked about that plus 180 mark. So over here for me, I got plus 165.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, shop around, everybody.
Yep.
Shop around.
Yep. That's why we do it.
To win the Eastern Conference, I'm looking at Carolina at plus 500. The Maple Leafs are there at plus 500. The Panthers plus 550. Lightning plus 700. The Rangers are plus 850. And the Penguins are still a nice price at plus 850 with their hot start. If you want to jump on that bandwagon, Bruins plus at 13-1. Capitals 17-1. So their odds have dropped. Your Red Wings at 30-1. Still a nice price there for them. If you have any faith in the Flyers, 50-1 for them. But I will give Philly has all kinds of karma and everything going on. I mean, that might be worth just a $20 just for the heck of it.
Right.
Play. The Western Conference, the Avalanche are the favorite at plus 200. The Flames right behind them at plus 600. Edmonton at plus 700. Vegas at plus 900. The Wild at 10-1. The Stars 16-1. So we're basically looking at the same numbers
pretty much
for the Western Conference.
Give or take a little bit. Yeah, so not much has changed. Just a couple games into the season. So I like to buy into Carolina if you're gonna try and play smart. I think they have a high probability of winning that division. But I like the plus 250 over here for me for the New York Rangers. I think they're absolutely going to contest for it. So we'll see what happens there.
And I got a plus 350, so better number in my book there. So
right.
Shop around.
So I like, and I also maybe take a look at the Florida Panthers to win their division over the Maple Leafs. Something to keep an eye on. We'll see what these teams do down the stretch, or not down the stretch, but as we get into this young season.
If you want to do a Carolina Colorado exact matchup right now, that pays 17-1.
Oh, all right, not bad. So I did take in one of mine. I had a 4-leg future parlay, which I usually don't do too many futures. I'm just kind of impatient that way when I do my betting. But I do have an interesting one that I took at the beginning of the season, just to go for it. Why not? So I have in one of them, because I have two of them. I took Carolina and Calgary to win their divisions. And then here's my other one. This is my all NHL division winners here. Took Nashville to win their division at plus 800. Just kind of taking a shot at that, seeing what they can do this year. I feel like they think they're improved. So we'll see how they can hang around in that division. Then I took, obviously, the Hurricanes, so I took them twice. Pretty high on them winning that division again. Then I took Edmonton. I really like Edmonton out west. I also like Calgary. I think it's going to be between them two, and it's going to come down to probably only a couple points separate them. And it could be, their season set that decides it. So those two out west, I believe, obviously other than the Avalanche, are probably the two big dogs to keep an eye on out there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then I said, you know what, the heck with it. Let's go Tampa Bay to win their division. Plus 300. I thought there was some value there. I still think they can do it, although they don't have all the pieces that they had. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a tougher road for them, Steve. But with the value there, I said, why not? Let's take a shot at it.
The only future I have for hockey right now is I have the Capitals to win the Eastern Conference at 16-1. I have that parlayed to the Cleveland Cavaliers to win their Eastern Conference of the NBA, and the Denver Nuggets to win the Western Conference of the NBA. Cleveland Cavaliers at plus 1,800. The Nuggets at plus 850. That $10 bet pays about 27 grand. I can't say I like much of that at all. I think Philadelphia, the 76ers, are going to be the tough out in the East this year. They signed Montrezl Harrell. Sorry to get off the subject, but this will segue into the next thing.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a big difference maker for Philly. But yeah, I'm planning to do an NBA preview show myself. I think I'm going to go ahead and post that tomorrow for you guys, and then we'll come on about 5 minutes a day and give a quick little NBA spiel of what you can look for. Nothing crazy. We're not going to dominate time, but if you need your 5-minute NBA gasp of what we have going on tonight, we're just looking to fill that void. Just a quick stop, 5-minute stop to get some good knowledge of injuries,
right,
et cetera,
right.
et cetera, et cetera. All right. That's all I got for hockey, Dave.
All right, well then I'll read off this other one since you had a mixed parlay, and then we'll get out of here. I want to see what you think. Just kind of an interesting play. So I had the Packers to win their division plus 130. Then I took Jacksonville Jaguars to win their division, paired with the Hurricanes and the Flames. So that's my mixed bag there. So yeah, we got hockey season's ramping up. They're going to get into it. So I'm sure, come next airing, next Monday, we'll have plenty more to talk about.
And I'll do a graphics disclaimer. Courtesy of Bally Sports was just the audio of the goal and not this whole segment.
Right,
all right. So
right.
let's be clear on that. As I'm a poor producer learning the graphics here in the new studios.
We're learning.
All right. Cool.
All right. Till next week. Yep. Everybody just kind of keep an eye on things, and good luck on your wagers, and tune in next week.
What the puck is going on?
Yeah.
So basketball show tomorrow. More to follow on that when that gets posted. And then 4:00 Friday will be the Friday soccer paycheck for all your weekend EPL and championship stuff. And then we have the round robin live Sunday mornings, 6 a.m. replay to follow. Good night. Good luck, everyone.